Okay, I believe we're live. So welcome to Tamarah's Closet today. I just don't know where to begin today because my guest has had the most incredible opportunities come his way, and there's just so much in his future that it honestly is difficult to know where to stop. I could probably go on all day with him, but I can't. So I have such a strong admiration for him and his quest to reach for the stars, that he has really inspired me in my own quest for my own dreams. And this man has such a good head on his shoulders. And when I had the pleasure of talking to him just a couple days ago, we talked for quite a while on Skype, I truly could feel the most genuine passion for his quest to not only pursue his dream, but his quest to give people what they truly want, and that is passionate music from a passionate musician. So he's as genuine as his voice is beautiful, and I tell you, his gift to write and sing songs is just unstoppable, because I don't think he's going to be stopping up for air anytime soon. And I have to say, in 2001, he won Nashville's Top Male Independent Country Artist Award. And I am already so addicted to his voice. I love his songs Sweet Lovin' and See Amazing. And he's just recently started working with some of the top people, like the top Nashville session player and 2007 ACM winner for Best Guitarist on Faith Hill's song, B. James Lowry. And B. James, Lowry and Chase have started to co-write and collaborate with some of Nashville's top songwriters. So without further delay, I want to introduce you to this amazingly talented and ambitious singer-songwriter, Chase Allan. So Chase, say hello so I know you're still with me.
I'm here, Tamarah. Hi.
It's great to have you. I know you were kind of in a rush coming in, so I'm just going to jump right into some questions. Because Chase, I know you just came back from a really big event, the CMA Music Festival in Nashville. And I knew it drew like over 250,000 people from like 50 states and 40 countries. And we had talked a little bit about this the other night. And this year you were actually asked to take part in the AT&T Uverse Fanfare. And I actually learned that was where the party happens on level 3, I think. So with all the vendors. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that experience, and so people know what that's about and how that was for you and how you got selected to do this.
Well, I had the privilege this year of being inducted, not only do the Fanfare X, but also be inducted in CMAs. So that's 7,000 CMAs, or 7,000 people worldwide. We get to vote, nominate people for CMAs, and go to the CMAs and all that good stuff. But yeah, the Fanfare X, man, that was a privilege. Basically, how artists or bands get in Fanfare X is they have to initiate a wanting to be in that, and then a board looks over your applications, and you have to meet certain criteria. And I met it, so they asked me to be in it, and it was a blessing. Man, it takes place during CMA Fest, and there's about 55,000 people that attend Fanfare X, and I'm sorry, with the 65,000. 55,000 was there. They were there just on 2 weeks ago on Saturday. Wow. So yeah, so it's a great time to meet people. Like you said, there's vendors from Budweiser to Belk. I mean, it's, a great time with artists. You get to meet everybody from Lee Green. I met Lee Greenwood, hung out with Keith Anderson, Jody Messina. A lot of great people, a lot of great new artists coming up. So yeah, man, it's such a great privilege to finally be a part of something like that, meeting people from Wales, England, Australia, Nova Scotia, everywhere, and introduce them to your music, to you as an artist, share with them, share stories with them. Man, it goes on, and and it's just a blessing to meet people that you actually, and meet people that you have talked on social media, like the husband and wife I met, that they're actually, I wrote this song called Brand New Day, and it's got an interesting story that her daughter had committed suicide when she was 15, and this past about 15 months ago, and that song was there. Her mother would they would listen to that song together, and I had an opportunity to meet her and her husband, you know, and that was really, really a neat experience, and touch base with them, and because I emailed her after that happened, and you know, she shared the story. So you meet people on a one-on-one basis like that, man. It's just, that's why I write music, you know, that's more important than any money, you know, and for me, it's always been about music, and Fanfare X is a way that I can reach out and share with the fans, man, you know, so it was a great experience.
Yeah, you mentioned on the call the other night that you even had, like, you've had people come by that didn't think they liked country music or whatever, and I don't know if you played them or showed them one of your songs or something, and they were like really impressed, and it changed their mind.
Yeah, I mean, we live in Nashville. I live in Nashville, but you know, not everybody are country fans here, and so it's nice to win people over, you know, when I can. But yeah, I met people along the last 3 years, 4 years, you know, that they don't like country music, but they like my style, and able to share it with them. Like a gentleman, I was in California, San Diego, I was able to share my music with him, and he was like, you know, I don't like country music, but when he heard my song, I played him Brand New Day, he's like, man, I like this. You know, CD for him, autographed it, and you know, and gave it. He's a new fan, you know. That's how simple. It's one fan at a time, you know. For me, it's always going to be one fan at a time, and one person. People are important to me because that's the lifeline. That's, you know, I do music for people, you know, not really. It's an expression for myself, you know. And since I do write everything and I do produce the stuff, you know, it's a part of me when people hear my music live or from what's done in the studio.
Right. Well, I mean, you can feel your passion. Well, I could just feel it when I talked to you the other night, and you actually had so many credible opportunities. And I know you had announced that you won Nashville's Top Independent Male Country Artist Award in 2012. I wanted you to share with the viewers about that experience, how it came about, and what that meant for you.
Well, what happens every year, they have what they call a NEMA Award. And that's here for Middle Tennessee and Nashville exclusively. So it's almost like an independent award. It's like the Grammys, okay? And you can imagine all the artists here in Nashville. I mean, country, you got pop, rock, R&B. I mean, you got everybody from Three Doors Down living here to Peter Frampton. So, I mean, it's a hodgepodge of everything. So this award, NEMA, represents all genres. So they nominate like 6, 7 different individuals in each genre, male, female, who they feel it's nominated by the industry people, not the just the folks, you know, not the fans, you know. So it's nominated by the industry people. So yeah, so it's basically when I was nominated, I was kind of surprised, you know, and you know, it takes place right in Nashville, the award. I was able to perform too there. So actually, there was 5 or 6 other artists there, male artists that were nominated. I didn't think I was going to win it, you know, and I was very surprised. And when they called my name, but yeah, it was quite an honor and stuff, you know, and it's something that, you know, I'm a type of guy that I'm not specifically an award guy, you know. I'm all about the music and doing that, but it is still, you know, it's still an honor, you know, and I appreciated it, and you know, so I mean, going forward and striving, it helped me to pick me up, you know, during a time when I was kind of like, you know, down a little bit, you know, and so it worked, man, and it helped. It was a good thing, you know. So, and being able to share that and with people and stuff, it was a great opportunity.
That's awesome. Now, did they have like an event where you go and you actually receive the award?
Yeah, you know, yeah. It was like a dress-up event.
Yeah.
Everyone from different genres. Yeah, that's cool to get to be people from R&B, hip hop, other country artists, rock artists, pop artists, and these people are in Nashville. So these people, there's a thing about Nashville and the vibe, and there's great artists all over the U.S. Okay, not just Nashville. But there's something that drives people to Nashville, not just country arts. I mean, the great studios here, the top musicians in the U.S., some of them are, a lot of them are here. So you get a hodgepodge of these top musicians here. These are top of the game people, you know. So to meet people like that, you just sit back and, you know, and be blessed to talk to these people from all different, you know, genres, you know. And it was just a really cool event. And so yeah, it's they perform there, just like it's just like Grammys, you know. And so it's a red carpet event, you know. So, you know, like I said, I was blessed to be part of it, and you know, and I wouldn't be part of stuff like that and have opportunities like that if I don't, like, when I write a song and stuff and I do it, I don't think, hey man, how much money can I make in the future for that? You know, if I would go down that road, then I wouldn't be me, and it would destroy what I'm doing. You know, I'm a grassroots guy, you know, and I do it. It's about the music. I'm one of those guys that it's all about the music. So, and that's what's helped me. When people see that and they hear it and they see my heart and they see where I'm coming from and my integrity and my tenacity, it goes a long way. Oh, I hope it goes a long way still.
Well, that's awesome, because, you know, I think a lot of people think that that aren't in the music industry just think that Nashville is predominantly country, and I did too, really. You know, I forget that there's all genres there, and it doesn't just draw the country music singers. So that's impressive though, and I thought that was absolutely fabulous that you won that award. And so I actually want to back up a little bit though, because I want to get back to sort of the beginnings of your career and how you started. How old were you, Chase, when you realized that you could sing?
Oh, I grew up in a small church, okay? So my mom was a song leader in the church, and my first time I performed, I was 4 years old. In the church.
Really?
So I've been doing it. So I went on to high school and I studied classical music, Italian voice, classical voice. I played trumpet, I played French horn drums, guitar, piano, you know. So I pretty much studied music theory from the time I was like 14, you know, and that's helped me. Classical music, actually, I was going to be going on from that, you know, I was in groups, marching band, just immersed everything in music, from chorus to choirs, quartets. Bands, you know, I was playing bands when I was younger, you know, so, you know, it wasn't like I just picked up the mic, you know, or picked up, you know, I basically was immersed in it, you know, from the time I was 4 years old. So I can remember, so from singing the old hymnal songs to Christian music, to blues, to jazz. The first time I actually was in a jazz band. I was 14 years old playing trumpet in clubs, you know,
wow,
in bars at 14, you know, so, you know.
But did somebody say to you, did somebody when you were really young hear you sing and say, wow, you've got a really good voice, or how did you?
Yeah, singing has always been my forte, as a vocalist. So yeah, from a young age, you know, people realize, hey, this guy can sing, you know, I mean, he's something, you know, he has a special voice, you know, so I just needed the direction from going, because I wanted to be an opera singer. So, but yet I love writing, I love contemporary music too. So it's kind of like a struggle, you know, back and forth. So, but I'm glad it won out. What I really love to do most is doing contemporary writing and doing contemporary music, you know, rock music, commercial rock, country, you know, just like Vince Gill, Kenny Rogers, these guys, you know, their background, they came from Rockwood. You'd be surprised how many guys that you hear in the country music right now that their roots are rooted in rock and roll, you know, and I'm one of them. You know, that's why you can hear it in my music. You know, but I grew up liking country too. So, you know, so yeah, so I mean, it started, for me, it really started at a young age, and the maturation of where I've come from has always been there. I always knew I was a musician. And so I just didn't wake up and sing karaoke one day or in a bar or something. Hey, yeah, this guy, you know, it was just, I was born to do what I was doing. And how successful I'm going to be is really up to me, you know. and up to how far do I want to push the limits, you know, and I can be as successful as I shoot for the stars, you know, if I want. And I do, I'm trying to do that, you know, but at the same time, I'm trying to keep my integrity, and I have kept my integrity and my character and in doing things right, man, from the beginning, right. Not just, I didn't get to where I was because I have a lot of money, okay? I got to where I am because God blessed me, you know, talent, and blessed me to be able to write, and blessed me, put me around great people like yourself and musicians, and from the beginning, you know, I've been around great people, positive people. And so that's pretty much it in a nutshell, you know.
That's awesome. Somebody had posted in the event section where I made the event on Facebook about this interview that they're a lover of classical music, and they could feel the influence of classical music in your songs they were listening to. So, and they made that comment, you know, and right. So. And I don't know if they had read your bio at all or what, but so I thought that was interesting.
That is cool. I'm glad they noticed that, because I take pride in the formulas that I use to write my music. I just don't, when I write songs, I'm not a guy that writes a song a day, you know. I'll work on the composition of the song maybe 2 weeks, you know, one song when I get on something that's great. See Amazing, for example, that song did not take a day to write. I took 2 or 3 weeks to write that song, you know. And so for me, I like to develop the songs, you know. And then from writing it to going into the studio, pre-production, that's when I take off the songwriter's hat, I put on my production hat.
Right.
It's a whole process. That song by itself, I probably have after writing it, probably, for example, maybe 150 hours in that one song, you know, for production. I mean, it's amazing how much time when you do it, you know, the right way, it really takes, you know. And it's like making a movie, you know, each song, its own individual novel, own individual movie. So I pride myself in, you know, but then again, I like Eagles and stuff like that. So I mean, I like guys like that did that kind of things, you know. So, and there's guys out there doing that now still too. So.
Right. Well, that is a great song. I was listening to CMAs and Sweet Lovin' a lot while I was getting ready this morning, because they both were lifting my spirits, and I just love the beat. And so I had posted those again on Facebook today. And you know, you really have branded yourself. You know, your voice is very recognizable, and I love those 2 songs, absolutely. But so I know you said you grew up around music, and were your parents and your siblings were they singers, or?
My mom wasn't. I'm sorry, my mom was. My dad really didn't have much to do with music at all. Me and my dad were kind of like opposites. He was more into like cars and well, I'm into cars too, but I mean, he could build an engine, build a house. You know, I was more into the social cultural stuff, you know, like kind of like my mom, you know. So, but yeah, the only one that was really into music was I had a second cousin that actually was in Nashville back in the 60s, 70s. And he was, I don't even know his name, but he was in here, you know, doing things and stuff, you know. So, but yeah, it's you know, I basically, I didn't have too many people around me that was really into music except for my mom. But in school, I did. I went, you know, so I mean, that's where I kind of took off in church, you know, growing up in a small church where it was very musical church and stuff. So, you know, I taught myself to play piano I started playing when I was like 11 years old, you know. Well, I taught myself, you know, so. You know,
wow.
It's, you know, so basically it was a maturation of things, you know, musically and stuff. And I just kept pushing myself. You know, it was never satisfied. I wanted better myself. So now, you know, that allowed me, that's why I can produce, you know, the way I do and stuff. And from working so hard in the past and continue to improve things, you know, in all phases of music, you know, push the boundaries.
Right. Who was were your parents, were they pretty supportive of you getting into music? I know you said, I think you said your dad died recently, right?
My dad died a couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
That's where the song "Brand New Day" came from.
Yeah.
But people hope, because it was kind of a down time. Of course, you lose a parent or anybody close, it's rough. It can be a rough time for a while. So I just wrote that for people to have second chances, and there is hope. But yeah, back to your question though about my parents were supportive. In high school and stuff, they were supportive of my music and stuff. They didn't understand. My dad didn't understand it all the time.
Yeah.
I was playing, all over and stuff. When I was 18, 17, 18, playing all these rock groups all over the country and stuff. But it was an experience. And it's a journey. Everybody has their own journey, It isn't to say that just because one guy didn't grow up doing music like I did, started like when he was 20 or something, doesn't mean that he wasn't blessed to do it. He just didn't start, or she didn't start later. So I mean, everybody has their own journey, So I'd never judge anybody, And I'm always loving. I always pride myself on, I have open arms and open hands to all other musicians and stuff, no matter what their level are. I'm not one of those guys that think I will never, and that's what I pride myself on too, is I never think I'm too good. I never think I'm better than other people. I always try to be as humble as I can when I meet people and stuff, because you can learn something from everybody, and that's the way I do. Yeah, it's who I am. So and that's helped me,
Oh, absolutely. Well, I have to ask you about the truck, because since you have that picture of you with the truck, was that sentimental? Was that your dad's truck, or?
Actually, that was a friend's truck. But
was it?
Yeah. So I wish it was my truck. but yeah, that was a cool truck. I like that truck. Chevys, So.
Yeah, I know. And I thought I had printed it up today, but I guess I didn't, because I was looking at my pictures. And but I know I used it in some of the ads for Facebook. But I like that picture of you in the truck. But
yeah.
How old were you when you actually wrote your first song, and what was the inspiration behind it when you wrote that first song?
A girl. No. Yeah, it was. That's all the guys. Guys that write songs. It's always a girl, isn't it?
I know.
My first full song, I wrote parts of songs, but it was when I was 14. I think I remember when I was 14. I can't remember what it's called, but I bet I have a recording around somewhere. But yeah, it was a pretty cool song. And but yeah, I wrote the first song when I was 14, and I was lucky to be around a lot of great musicians and stuff. Guitar players, guys I hung out with were guys that would practice a guitar for 6-7 hours a day. They come home from school and that's all they do. Or they play piano and they do this or that, but they really honed their skills and a lot of the guys, some of the guys I knew went on to play with really big artists and stuff in the rock and roll world, side guys and stuff, so, it's, that's what I still do today, and that's hard work, really getting down, with it and striving to be the best, and always never being satisfied, always pushing. The new songs I'm writing that they're done, that no one's really heard except for a few people, they push the limits, still, and and I'm basically beating what I've done already, and I'm so excited about getting these songs out there, and too, on forward. But I got because songwriting for me has never been a problem, so I'm excited about the new stuff too. So yeah, it's going forward though. It's gonna be really exciting.
Oh yeah. Well, when you're thinking about writing a song, what would you say comes first? Like, are you just find yourself humming a tune and the tune comes first and then you do the lyrics, or do the lyrics typically come first and then the tune?
Yeah, well, I have a really good friend. He's a good songwriter. He doesn't even play an instrument at all. He doesn't sing, play an instrument, but he does the melodies in his head. I've done that before, but normally I write the composition first. I write the music first, and then the music breathes life into the emotion, feeling where where the song's going to go. And, you know, and then it just, I melt them together, you know. And so then it's like breathing life into something, taking something from nothing, you know, and being able to create that. So yeah, for me, I do the composition, and I might, before I even write lyrics, I might spend a week or two just on the composition, honing it and getting the bridges and the pre-choruses, and I time everything out. And I'm actually like, I don't want to say micromanage the song or anything, but I actually have my phone. I'll time the intro. I'll time the intro to the first verse, and the chorus. You know, try to make everything, you know, as radio as possible. And I don't mean that as a commercial guy or anything, but there's certain ways that I do things that works for me, you know. Because I don't want to be doing a verse for a minute and a half, you know, and then go. I usually try to get my verses into my choruses in 45, 48 seconds, because that keeps things fresh. It rolls, and that's why in my music they talk about hooks. Well, I look at everyone's waiting for a hook. Well, I look at everything being a hook. That's why, like, CMAs, the right beginning, da, 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 you know, and I did a little singing this. But you know, you go into, I want everything to be really catchy through the song, you know. So I work that song, and then I write the lyrics. And yeah, CMAs was a fun song to do too and stuff. And when you do that, you really plan everything out. It's so much easier when you go into pre-production, because then you bring in the big dogs, you bring in the guys, the top engineers that work with Kenny Chesney or Keith Urban or Eagles or Daughtry. You know, you bring these guys in, you bring in the same musicians that work with these guys, and then all the hard work, the hours you've already spent. It sounds great then, and these guys get a hold of it, it's a winning combination. And that's the guys I work with, you know. So in the guys I work with, they know that I'm going to bring in something good, you know. So when you do write songs like See Amazing or It's Your Love or Brand New Day or Before I Leave, Let Me Go, songs like that, you always got to, you know, once you write the song, it's a blessing, it's a curse, because then you have to keep it up there. You can't just write anything. But I've been fortunate, like I said, the stuff that I write and that the new stuff is great, and I can't wait to share it. I mean, not everything I write makes the cut too. I mean, it's not like every song I write is, you know, great. I just pass that off to Warner Chappell. Yeah, I'm just kidding. You know,
well, when you start composing, do you like to use the piano or the guitar when you start a song?
Both. I would say 70% piano and 30% guitar, because the piano, it's more fluid instrument, you know. And like See Amazing, I wrote that, believe it or not, it sounds like that was written on guitar. That is 11 guitars on that song. See
wow.
11, 53 tracks. I wrote that on piano. You would never know that.
You wouldn't.
So it's really what you do. It's a production of the song, you know, and stuff. So to me, songwriting is a very deep art of doing something, bringing something out from within yourself through, you know, from past experiences, friends, emotions, past relationships, you know, everything, loss, love, hurt. And you can take that and you grab that and put that in that song. And that's really neat, because when you write it and people react to it, you know, and people don't see what all goes into like a song like Brand New Day or See Amazing or you know, You Say Goodnight, you know, if they could hear it from the beginning, they'd be like, this sounds like nothing that it started out with. You know, so it's just taking that song and just, it's like putting a puzzle together. And when you put that last piece of that puzzle in, you stand back and you look at that beautiful panorama, you know, and you can just sit back and say, wow. And, you know, not only now I'm ready to share this and see how people react to it. And for me, you know, majority of people, when they hear my music, they react to it pretty well. So I'm, you know, going forward, I want to keep on that route, you know, keep on that journey of writing in great music and stuff. Because Nashville, you know, Nashville is a writing town. It's a songwriting town, you know. And there's good songwriters, there's bad songwriters, there's great songwriters. I wouldn't say there's bad songwriters. I mean, it's just it's your perception of everything. what I don't like, you might love, you know, a song, you know, so that's a part of, you know, you never can judge people. And if it's from their heart, that's all that counts, you know, that's what really counts. So, you know, but man, you got me going in depth with songwriting.
That's okay. I like listening because I'm always curious as to how people, you know, where is the beginning of that song coming from? Is it a tune first or lyrics? So I'm always, and everybody's answer is different. So I think that's really great. Now, did you want to say something else?
Well, one thing I was going to say, songwriting is the key. That's why I'm not a songwriter singer. Okay, I'm not a songwriter singer because there's a difference. When I write songs, if I'm a songwriter singer, a lot of times you don't like do the bridges or the guitar solo stuff like that. That is when you get to put that production hat on and stuff. I'm a true front man that happens to write songs, you know, and so it enables me to get the mechanicals of writing, after writing the song, from my heart and doing the business of taking it to the studio and working with the guys. Because when the guys come in, the engineers and these guys playing stuff, they don't say, "Oh man, this came from your heart, Chase." They don't think that way. They're trying to make a good, unique product, a song that can, you know, be played for the public on the radio, internationally, everything like that. So you got to take those hats. It's different hats that I wear, you know, and so I just needed to add that. There is a difference from the two things and stuff. So you go. I'm sorry.
No, that's great. That's good to know. That's actually good to know. Now, I know that you're going to be working closely, co-producing and are with Gabriel Candy. And I know he's a longtime producer with Chappell, which I just think this is awesome. With songs, he's placed on shows like The Vampire Diaries and The Today Show and even The Sopranos. And you were actually chosen to write along with him. This is really powerful. What does this mean for you? And how did you just they choose you?
Well, he found me. Actually, the story behind that, I blew him off at first. I didn't know who he was, and I was in the studio recording Brand New Day. Before I leave and start at night, I was working on those 3 songs. I didn't have time. He got on. He said, "Hey, Chase, you know, you're really, this is great. You're a guy I'm looking for. I want to do this." And I'm like, I don't have time, you know, and stuff. I kind of forgot about him. And then 6 months later, he got a hold of me again. He didn't forget about me, thank goodness. And he said, "Hey, you know," and then I contacted him. I got a hold of Chappell because I didn't really know who he was. And found out he's won a Chappell. They have offices in Salt Lake City, New York City, and Los Angeles. So I called the one in Salt Lake City, and they confirmed. They said he's one of our biggest producers. I'm like, great, you know. So he basically said, "I'm going to do this. I want you to write 3 songs. I want a Taylor Swift song, a Carrie Underwood song, a style song, and a rock and country song."
Wow.
And so he gave me the money. They were going to put me in Warner Brothers here in Nashville, but they were all booked up. So I had this friend in Tulsa that had a studio, a really nice studio. So I flew into Dallas. From Dallas, I flew back to Tulsa. 3 days I spent in the studio, sleeping on a cot, right in the studio, and worked nonstop, finished these songs, you know, played it. It was great. And actually, 2 of the songs ended up making it on Warner Chappell's big country album, Stirring Up Crazy, 2015. And then I thought I was done with him then, and he came to Nashville with his wife, whose wife is a big Latin star, Grammys and all that stuff. Worked with everybody from Sneak Dogg to Pitbull.
Wow.
Beautiful lady, you know, great artist, you know. And they said, "Hey man, I want to meet you, Chase," you know. So I went out. I thought he just wanted to shake my hand. "Hey, you did a great job." So I went out to this Puerto Rican restaurant, really nice restaurant there. Met him in Nashville, and he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "Chase," he goes, "I want to teach you to be a producer for Warner Chappell. And plus, I want you to write for me more. We're going to do this album, you know, for Warner Chappell, and I want you to write and sing on the album too." So I was just taken aback, and his wife looks at me. She goes, "You're a great writer. I want to write with you too," you know. And so, you know, I was kind of blown away by it. I'm like, "Hey, you know, let's do it, you know. And he actually said, groom me to be a producer. Because when you write for Warner Chappell and things like that, that's for, you know, it's licensing for movies and TV. It's a whole different segment from it as an artist. It's like taking another hat on, you know, another thing that I do. So it's
I wanted you to explain to the viewers what that, because that's a big deal, but I don't think people understand what that means, Warner Chappell, how big that is.
Warner Chappell is a part of Warner Brothers that, you know, they do the movies. For movies, you see when you want to go watch a movie in the big screen or movie, they do the movies. They have the Warner Brothers part that that they do the artists, assign artists and stuff, country, rock, whatever. Then they have they also have the part where they do licensing. They do music for movies and TV and commercials, and that's Warner Chappell, and that's what he does. And Gabriel gets 200 and some songs a year placed. I mean, he's one of the big. That's unheard of. I mean.
Wow.
You know, he's a former artist himself, but he makes, you know, he's doing so well doing that. He's been with them for 30, 35 years. So, I mean, he walks right into the president's office and stuff, vice president's office at Warner Chappell. You know, so he's a good guy to be connected with. But yeah, they what they do there is they make these albums, usually it's 12 to 15 songs. And sometimes it's one guy that does it all, and most times various artists they pick. And they put two of their songs usually on the album. And then it's almost like a resource where people making movies, whether it's Fast and Furious or, you know, Superman or Batman or whatever, the directors or producers for the movies, they'll go into these archives, you know, where they have these albums at. They'll list it, hey man, that Chase song or that song, that'd be good for the movie. You know, so then they pick it up, and that's when you hopefully you pick it up. And that's when you get the check, you know, not right away, you know, a year. But it's not, when you do write songs for these guys and these big companies like that, you don't get paid like that. You don't get paid until, if someone picks it up, it could be a year, 2 years, it could be 4 years, 3 years.
Right.
You know, it depends if they take your music, but if you can get in there with that and start, you know, really writing music and getting, you know, because they do so fast. When they write their music, these guys, they're not like concerned like I am when I write for, like you're writing for radio or something. You know, they don't spend hundreds of hours up. They can write a song in an hour. You know, it's not as complicated as, you know, so as writing for an album for the public, for radio, for things like that. So it is really cool. It's a great opportunity. And I'm blessed to do that. And that's just coming from writing songs and stuff. And there's a lot of opportunities when you're a writer, writing for other people. You know, I'm going to start writing for some of the girls that were on The Voice, that worked with Blake Shelton and stuff. So, I mean, you know, there's all kinds of things. It's just finding time for everything and making sure that you're focused on what you're doing. Because when you get spider web too much out, and you're like doing this, that. I've done that before. It's easy for me to do that. It's hard for me to say no when people ask me to do something. Chase, you know, I'm like, okay, let's do it. You know, so I got like 10 people you're writing for, and then, you know, you're writing for Warner Chappell, and you're doing this and that. So, and then you're doing your own stuff. You know, I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, it's like, it's, you know, keeping everything, you know, focused on a few things instead of, that's like social media, focusing on just a couple of different things. You know, if I focus on everything in social media, 10, 15 things, it drives me crazy, you know, so.
It's a lot. There's so many, and there's new ones popping up all the time. And, you know, I've already gotten, somebody sent me something about a new one that's popping up, and I'm like, God, there's so many. You really can't keep up with all of them. But you're obviously a seize the moment kind of guy with all these different projects, and but yet you have such an incredible voice on your own. Where do you see this taking you as far as how are you going to juggle all this with your future plans for your own songwriting and your own albums? And
I think one thing I say about it, being very selective, you know, doing things, this is what advice I'd give anybody starting out, you know, whatever. If you're going to always be selective, don't spread yourself too thin, because you start losing yourself, and you know, you got to be able to focus on things. And so, yeah, I mean, there's no way I could write for 10 different people. I was just using that as an analogy, but a couple different people, you know, start small like that, you know, and then, but yeah, as an artist, as a singer, yeah, that's my main thing. That's my main goal, you know, as going forward and stuff. Like I'm probably gonna be going back to Europe in the springtime, you know, next spring, late spring. I might be going to Hollywood doing this thing, a big event there too, and I might be recording a song out there too in LA in September. So there's a lot of stuff, different things that even though I live in Nashville, I love Nashville. I don't have no plans to move to Nashville. I'm situating myself not to be a regional artist. And what I mean by that, there's some guys in country music, you know, which is great. They just play Texas. So my friends, all they do is play Texas and make a great living doing that. And they love it. And there's some guys that music's played like in 10 states. Well, I've set myself up to be international. You know, I want my music played, which it is, in England, UK, to Australia, to Japan, you know, to US, Canada, you know, so that's what I'm looking. So I don't, when I wake up in the morning, I don't think, what can I do for Nashville? What can Nashville do for me? I wake up in the morning and say, man, can I go to Dubai? Can I play in the Middle East? Can I play UK, Germany, you know, LA, you know, spread, because it is about music, you know, it's about spreading. If you're blessed to do this, why not do it, you know? And I love country music, and I'm not saying I'm going to switch genres or anything like that, but I'm just saying, you know, do music and spread as much as you can, you know. And, you know, I toured the UK last fall. It was a great experience. Ireland and England, and playing in festivals and meeting people, and it was like a whole different world, you know. And so it was so cool. And meeting.
And you've got a song that was doing really well there. Or where was it? I saw on your Facebook page that was one of your songs was doing really well.
UK?
Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, I think so. You had a picture of it was sort of a beachy scene, or
I think maybe it was maybe Start a Night, See Amazing. We like that.
Might have been, yeah.
Start a Night, but yeah, it's funny because you know, when you write, because it's funny because different areas of the world they'll levitate to one song. We're like out in California, they like See Amazing, It's Your Love. You know, UK they'll like Start a Night and See Amazing. You know, it's really cool. And down in South America, you know, they play me in radio stations in Argentina and Brazil and Rio de Janeiro, you know, I mean, so there's a big fan. And the reason why, and it goes back to, even though I'm a country artist, a lot of people that like my music aren't necessarily country artists too. The country folks, fans, they like my music, but there's a lot of people that don't like, so it's kind of like a crossover thing that I'm doing too, you know, so it's opened a lot of opportunities to, you know, maybe go tour of South America someday. Why not, you know? I'm not afraid to go to LA. If I go to LA and Hollywood, I'm going to be playing out there, you know? I don't shun any place, you know, because of where it's at, who it is, because people are people. That's one thing. When I went to UK, Ireland, they love music over there, and people love music throughout the world. I have fans from Indonesia, Russia, Turkey. It's crazy, you know, South Africa, Johannesburg, you know, so, and that's because of my style, my voice, the brand. Remember, a lot of people mix the brand up. The brand is your voice, your image, what you wear. That is not your brand. Your brand is your music, your voice, you know. So people are digging my brand. So, you know, and that's why I can't wait. I know what my new stuff is like, and it's going to be special, even if it's going to be a little bit more toward, you know, in fact, I might record one of the songs out in LA. I'm still going to record most of it here, but I might record out in LA one song, you know, so that might be a plan to do for me. It's at a really good studio out there. And so, you know, it's just, you know, it's just doing what you love to do. And I'm the type of guy, I'm out of the box thinker to begin with. I'm always reaching for other things. And sometimes door closes and sometimes door stays open. you know, and I walk on through that door, you know, and so it's like doing that and keep being that way has helped me, especially being an independent artist. You know, I've had deals and stuff come my way and stuff for publishing. I'm gonna name labels, but label deals, but you gotta be real careful out there, especially it's almost now, the day and age we live right now of labels, it's like the more you do, the more you're good at something, like writing, this, that, it's the more they want, you know, so it's just not walking off the street, you know, and being able to sing, you know, it's, they want everything. So everything you do, you know, so you gotta be careful, you know, what you do and what you sign. So that's what I've been so far, but you know, I'm excited about things in the future that are coming up for me. So near future here. So, and I am making a video too. We got to talk about that.
Oh yeah, awesome.
July, in 2 weeks. 2 weeks in Florida, Tampa, and Siesta Keys, I think, like 3 different Polk County. So it's a 2.5 day shoot. We got the actress already gonna the lead, it's all ready to go. You know, all the models and the guys, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. You know, down Tampa, down the boardwalk there. So I'm excited about it. See Amazing. It's gonna be See Amazing.
See Amazing. That's what I was gonna ask you which song. Yeah, See Amazing. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. So you're gonna have to make sure that you let me know when that's completed. I want to.
I'm pretty pumped about it. You know, it's kind of coming, and you know, this will basically be a premiere video and stuff. So, you know, it's a great song to start out with. I mean, there's other video songs I want to do too. You know, but you know, there's a lot of things that are happening. You know, that I can't even really talk about right now. That are coming up, big meetings and stuff that I have and stuff. You know, as far as playing huge shows. And, you know, and things like that. So, but yeah, it's a lot of really neat stuff in the near future, and it's a progression of things because I started from the ground up, grassroots, man. You know, so I mean, it's really it's a progression of what I've done and continue to do. And,
wow.
You know,
I know you've also gotten to work with another really great studio session musician in Nashville, Tom Bukabak, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
And I know he started playing guitar really young at age 10, and I believe I read he played on a couple of your songs. How did you connect with him? And because he's played with the Doobie Brothers and Garth Brooks and
Urban, he's pretty much on Brooks, pretty much on a lot of key stuff.
Yeah.
And basically, I got connected to him because when I first in Nashville, the first studio I ever recorded in Nashville was Treasure Isle. That was Jason Aldean's studio. So he uses Pete Coleman over there. Peter Coleman from England. He's the head engineer there. He worked on my stuff. That's his crew. All those guys. Every album Jason Aldean's ever done has been at Treasure Isle. And that's where I stepped in there. Montgomery Gentry, Johnny Cash, Lady Antebellum had some stuff in there. So it's like one of the oldest studios. So the guys from there knew Boop, and I liked how he played, and they connected with me, with him, and I went to his house and met him and Sarah Buxton, that's his wife, Sarah Buxton and stuff. She's an artist herself, so songwriter, you know, so you know, so yeah, so we met the guys, did a great job, and really had a great time with them. But yeah, I've worked with guys. Tom, Adam Schoenfeld, that played in Big and Rich, and he's on tour with Tim McGraw. Chris Luthinger, guitar player, I've worked with him. He's a Garth Brooks lead guitar player on all his albums, you know, every single album. So I've been blessed to work with so many great people from, you know, I worked with Rich Redman and Paulie Kennedy, the bass player and drummer for Jason Aldean. They played on a lot of my stuff. You become friends with these guys too, you know, a lot of these guys and stuff. You go to their houses, you know, do your music and stuff and overdub and things like that. So once you use them, you know, once you call them back, okay, man, I'm doing this new project. Can you get me? You know, so it is about contacts and meeting people, you know, and getting in the mix and stuff. Because when I first came here, I recorded and I just kind of like left. I went outside. I went to Europe and I went to, you know, doing all this other stuff. So now I'm coming back to my roots, you know, kind of with Nashville and stuff, and doing things with Nashville. That's why they finally let me in the CMAs. No, I was just kidding. And no, so that's just a joke. But let me do Fanfare X this year. No, but you know, prodigal son's coming home. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's staying connected with the people, the fans, the great music. That's why I tell people, you know, if you're gonna do something music, make sure you surround yourself with, because you want to be a premier product, premier musician, singer. You surround yourself with the best people, character-wise, musicians, engineers, PR people, everybody, A-class, because there's a lot of people out in Nashville, in LA, they're sharks. You know, they'll eat you up, they'll take your money, they'll promise things that they can't. When someone promises you something in music business, run. If they promise you to be a star, run. Don't work with those people, because there are no promises in the music business. You know, there's nothing's on the sign dotted line. There's no amount of money that's going to make you stop. It's either going to happen or it's not. You know,
Right.
You know, it's perseverance, determination, and I told a lot of artists, they say, Chase, man, what's the secret? What's the thing? I said, number one, man, you got to believe in yourself, because there's going to be times when no one's going to believe in you. Okay. Number two, you know, be determined. Be determined, because the best, like who told me, Dolly Parton's producer, a woman, one of her main producers, she's a woman. She said, Chase, some of the people you're on the radio are not necessarily the best people, but they were the most determined people. Okay. And number three, I tell them, when one door closes, kick that next son of a gun down. Okay. There's gonna be a lot of. It don't matter how good you are, how good you can sing. I can show you something and blow you away. I'll take it down here in Nashville, and we'll sit back there, three guys in suits, and say, well, that's pretty good, Chase. But behind closed doors, they're saying that's damn good. but you know, it's really, really keep striving no matter what. And that's a good thing in life, no matter what you do. Not just music, anything.
Oh, absolutely. And often the most successful people are not the most skilled at their craft. They were just determined, and they never quit. You know, they never gave up.
It's everything. Likability. I mean, are you a real person? Are you a jerk to people? I mean, it all plays in that. Are you real? Because people don't want perfection, man, in the music. God knows in country music, we're not perfect, okay? I mean, if that was the case, half of Nashville would be out of job. You know, I mean, that's today. You know, but people want somebody that's unique, but yet genuine. You know, with all the flaws and everything. You know, and writing the music, because every day, man, for me, my whole thing is about people, music, and bringing that great music to the people and fans, and continue to do that, and meeting people, the right people. And when I was at Fanfare X, I did get to meet a lot of great people that I had met, like Jody Messina. I never met. Wonderful singer. I got to watch her perform. Incredible. Neil McCoy, who I'm going on country cruising with, end of October, 23rd to 30th. Neil McCoy, he's hosting that. I'm going on it with Trace Atkins and I think Parmalee and a bunch of really cool people. Got to meet a wonderful man. Wonderful man. You know, he's been around forever. Neil's been around forever. So, you know, you look at people like that and you see how successful they've been, you know, and with their character, how they are, you know, and how they talk to people, you know, respectful and treat everybody the same, you know. And because now everybody ain't gonna treat you the same.
No.
You walk away from the people who smile and say, hey, man, you know, I'm you know, and that's everybody in life. We've all faced that. And
Yeah.
with that, if I would have been thin-skinned, I'd been gone a long time ago. Because everybody thinks that just because you sing good, you write good, everything's gonna come easy. It doesn't. It never does. And sometimes it's like the people that are the most talented. Sometimes they got to work a hell of a lot harder. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's and you know that. I know you're a hard worker from what you've done in the past, and so you know it is about that. And you know, so yeah, it's a blessing, man. It's all been a blessing.
Well, that's great. Well, I knew you were doing the cruise coming up too, and I think that's awesome. You've got so many great opportunities, and I was going to ask you, because I did talk to you the other night when we were talking on Skype. I said, do you have another album coming? You said you do indeed have another album to be released. Can you talk about that at all briefly, or?
Well, this album, which is pretty much hasn't been released yet, like the songs on that, and you can't buy my stuff on iTunes. And the reason being is that every time that a label gets hold of me or someone wants help, first thing they say, do you have stuff released? And if I say yes, they want me to come in the studio, redo things, or redo new songs and stuff. So a lot of independent artists don't. Now, it isn't like I'm going to sit on forever, because I'm going to release it, but it's going to have to be a right time here. But a lot of the whether it's a big independent label or a major label, they want to release this stuff. But yeah, I've already got, you know, most of my next album done, you know, and this album isn't even released, so so it's really neat, and it's gonna be, I'm not even sure when I'm gonna start releasing that stuff. You know, I gotta deal with this stuff first, you know.
I know you've got a lot going on.
I'm really excited about my new stuff. In fact, I was telling somebody else, I said, man, if I had some of this new stuff here, I don't know if I would have done some of the old stuff. You know, so, but you know, everything is you keep maturing as an artist. You want to keep things going back. I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to, when I write music and do things, I don't want people to say, hey man, his last album was good, or his last music, but what happened to him? I mean, my gosh, man, you know, he didn't. And that, in a lot of artists, that happens to you. It's usually either a lot of times it's rushing things through, you know, instead of taking your time, you know, and doing it the right way and stuff, and making sure that you once you get to that level and you're writing and you're singing, whatever, you want to keep it there, you know, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, no matter second, third album, you know, whatever, you know, keeping it there. But a lot of things, like I said, it's coming up, and we got some big meetings coming up where it's going to be could be very good for my career and stuff. So getting myself even more out there as far as playing and promotion and radio. So it's a lot of great things are happening.
And that's awesome. Now, I saw, this is one of my favorite pictures where you're on this walking this railroad track.
That's in Franklin, Tennessee.
And your quote says, never be afraid to walk that path less traveled. And are you ever fearful about your dream? Does fear ever enter your mind?
You know, the only thing is when, you know, doing my kind of music, it's really, you know, I didn't know if it was going to be like accepted country music fans, because I've always considered myself, and I've had even Fred Vale, who is the owner of Treasure Isle, who was the first producer, actually manager of the Beach Boys. Fred Vale was the first band, you can look this up, ever do in LA. He's an LA guy. It was the first indoor concert, huge concert, and it was Beach Boys in LA. It was indoor, first person ever. And he said, you're the Eddie Rabbitt of country music. So I've always considered myself, you know, like, that's why I gravitate toward guys like Johnny Cash, Dwight Yoakam, Waylon Jennings, Eddie Rabbitt, Kenny Rogers, guys like that they were Nashville, but they had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know,
right.
They always playing pop stage. So that I was like, man, do people really? Hey, man, they've loved it. So, you know, now all those names though, every name was synonymous of being great, had great successful careers. Every guy I named. So I mean, you know, hey, you know, so I just want to be unique, and so I don't really fear. It's not fear. It's not fear. I would say, for me, it's more of making the right choices and not a wrong choice. Because once you sign on that dotted line, you know, it can be over or it can be something great. There's a lot of great artists on labels right now that you've never heard of. You probably never, because they're stuck in their deals, you know. So you really got to be, in this day and age, you not only have to be something unique, you got to be business savvy too.
Right.
you know, and so that's where I'm at with that.
Well, now, where you've worked with so many different talented musicians, and who would you say was your biggest mentor when you first got started? Like, who had the biggest impact on you, and then who would you say is more your mentor today?
People that I don't know, probably Steve Perry. I mean, or Paul Rogers, guys like that, or Vince Gill, you know, guys like, I mean, just guys that can bring it vocally, man. It's great performers. They can give you, those guys, you just give them any mic, you know, and they'll make it sound like an angel singing, you know. Man, everybody from my high school music teacher, she was incredible. You know, I mean, people that I took lessons while I was studying to be, you know, an opera singer. I mean, just there's been so many people along the way that have really helped me, inspired me, whether they're, you know, musicians or not musicians, you know, people that have struggled. And what inspires me are not just musicians or singers, it's people that have come through the struggle, you know, whether it be cancer, whether it be, you know, a loss of a child, or, you know, a spouse, or, you know, I mean, people that, you know, struggled, worked their way through college, or, you know, gone through struggles, you know, in life, you know, and they've succeeded. They haven't given up, you know, redemption. You know, maybe they had a drug problem. They couldn't, you know. I was watching a show about Maurice Clarett the other day, Ohio State, you know, great running back. His story of redemption, the book he wrote, is incredible. People like that don't give up, you know, that's what inspires me, and that's what inspires me to continue to write music, great music and stuff. And so yeah, that's you know, there's so many different inspirations, you know, out there.
There are. That's a good answer, actually, because I think some people have. Lots of times our mentor is not even in the field that we're in. Like you said, it can be someone who just inspires you that's in a totally different vocation in life,
Yeah.
but it's just something that about them that inspires you. And I think that's great that you have had a lot of people that have been able to give you inspiration. So, you know, and I have to say, your voice, when you were talking about the brand, we talked about this, you know, your voice is your brand. I do hope you continue to, because I've been playing your music for people on social media and people here that I know in my town. And when people hear your voice, they go, wow, you know, he's got one of those great voices, recognizable. And one person compared you to Rod Stewart. And Rod Stewart's a good example, because whenever you hear him sing, you know it's Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
So I think you already have your brand, and I think that's incredible, Chase. And I hope you continue to develop that, because I think you've got something going there. Where do you think you see yourself running over the next couple years or so?
Man, it's just taking things. As an independent artist, I basically hit the ceiling. I mean, I've done so much, and I continue to do more things. And what I mean by the ceiling, there's as an independent artist, you get at a level to where there's only so much you can do, you know, on your own, or, you know, you need the right people, not just somebody to come in. You need the right people to come in and take you to that next level in a major way. And that's where I'm at. And I got meetings coming up to deal with that for me. And so you know what, other than that, musically, is basically the next couple of years, I just want to keep writing great music and doing some, you know, touching people's lives, you know, through my music, you know, and having fun. And my motto is, you only live once. I like to share. I like to spread the love, man. You know, so I like to talk, and I like to meet people. I like from all vocations, genres of music, all over the world, you know. So it makes me a whole person, more of a whole person, and not just musically people. Some of my best friends aren't even in music, you know? So, you know, it's you know, so that's where I want to see it. I want to be a better person, a better man, in 2 years, you know, and because the music for me is always going to be there. Because I want, when I leave this world, man, I want people to say, hey, man, he was a great musician. I want people to say he's a great guy, you know. So that's being a better man and a better person, you know, and also and along with striving as my music, you know, taking it to another level and keep working with great people, you know, and meeting great people like yourself. So that sums it up, man. You know.
Well, that's good though, and I'm glad to hear that because I'm being honest when I say I think you have an incredible voice that is definitely worth investing your time and energy in because you already are developing that brand, and I just think that is a true blessing. And so kudos to you because you are so gifted. You really are.
Thank you.
And we're gonna have to wrap it up. And as usual, I hate to end it because you have so much going on. I could question you all day long. So,
that's so much to say.
But I'm very excited for you, and I want to thank you again, Chase, for being here and taking the time to do the interview. But I think your story is very inspirational because I think people need inspiration and they need to hear other people's stories. And you certainly have, gosh, you do it all. And you are, without a doubt, very inspirational. So I also, you know, I just have to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being here today because I know you've got a lot going on. So
thank you for having me. This has been wonderful, and it's such wonderful doing what you're doing. So do what you do. So I mean, it's incredible time. You know, I'm so appreciative of being here and being part of Tamarah's Closet.
Yeah, I want you to stay in touch and don't hang up. Don't hang up. I'm going to say goodbye to the viewers, so you hang on a minute.
Okay.
But I just want to thank the viewers for their continued support. Make sure that you connect with Chase on Facebook and Twitter. I think he's on Google too. And his website is chaseallan.com. And you can also follow tamarahscloset.com. In the Celebrity Closet section, you'll be able to see the replay of this interview there, as well as my other interviews with my other artists, and as well as my upcoming blog article on Chase. So next week, I've got a guest, Scott Krokoff, who is he's actually from New York, and he's an attorney by day and a singer by night. So, and he's another person that believes in going after your dreams. So I want to thank you again, and I will see you next week on Tamarah's Closet.